out here now. As we are thinking about spring break next week, maybe a little bit of your budget. People like to consolidate instead of going to a hotel, consolidate families or their funds and go into an Airbnb, a Verbo, whether it's spring break or summer. Well, scammers are ready to pounce on folks who are ready to vacation, and that's why we needed to bring in Juliana O'Rork from the Better Business Bureau to talk about the latest scam. Juliana, I've used Airbnb so many times and Verbo, and now there are scams that people need to look out for. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so, like yourself, I've also used Airbnb and Verbo quite a bit in the past. And what we're really just telling consumers and want people to be aware of is to just be really cautious when you're booking anything online, whether it's, through an Airbnb or a house or something along those lines, or even a hotel. As we know, scammers are very much waiting for you, especially as summer approaches and we all take these wonderful vacations. Just be really careful when you're booking anything online and make sure you're doing your research and the due diligence behind that before putting any kind of payment information in there.
So what is this alert then that vacation rental scammers are trying to pull one over us?
Yeah, so essentially what happens is they are advertising, they have this beautiful home on multiple different websites and it's available for rent. So as a consumer, you do the research, you see, oh my gosh, this house is perfect. You go to rent it. Maybe you reach out to the owner on, whatever platform you're on, and they tell you, hey, yeah, we'd love to rent it to you. If you could, we'd be able to give you a discount if you actually go ahead and get off of this app and pay us through Venmo, Zelle, some kind of peer-to-peer payment app, which is a huge red flag. You want to stay within those platforms. You definitely don't want to take anything offline because then you're not protected at that point.
I've done this for like a personal services, like a massage or something.
Sure.
I've bought a Groupon and I'll call and make the appointment and they say, did you get it through Groupon? And that's what they do. I've done it maybe twice, but luckily, I've gotten the better deal. It's worked out for both the owner of the business and myself on a smaller scale. But if we're talking like a week-long vacation and trying to pay the owner, that could be a huge dent if they get scammed.
Yeah, that's just it. So you want to make sure you stay on that particular platform whenever you're making that payment. And if you're going to do that, use a credit card. Don't do any kind of wire transfers or anything along those lines. What we've seen is sometimes people, of course, these houses might exist, but the person you're talking to isn't the actual owner. So you submit them, to them the first payment, and then you probably won't hear from them again. So just be really careful, do the research. So if you find a place you really like, research it outside of the platform as well. Who's the owner? What do the reviews look like? Have there been any scams associated with that specific property? We all know you can also use Google to search a lot of different ways, a lot of different things to see, first and foremost, is the house actually there? Is it real? And kind of just go from there. And then also trust your gut.
Yeah. We definitely look to, we look to see if something's for real or not.
Yeah.
And it takes just a little bit of vetting and due diligence, but it's worth it at the end.
Yeah, it's a little extra time, but with most things, if it's too good to be true, it's because it probably is. So just be very cautious whenever you're booking any type of rental property through one of those platforms.
Yeah. Thank goodness I have not been screwed with that with that method.
I know. Yeah. Fortunately, I have not either. But again, you got to do all of that research.
No, and that's why.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I look at all the reviews and I see who's the one that's putting 1 star. Why are they putting just 1 star?
And reviews are pretty important too, because I think we know that across the board, people either leave a review when they're exceptionally happy or they're very upset, right? You don't really get many in the middle, mediocre reviews. And so take the time to read them and see what other people are saying.
Or the other part of this is if you don't want to do the Airbnb, you want to get a hotel room.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to do it too. But what are we thinking? There's a scam there too?
Yeah. So sometimes we know that ads come up on social media all the time, right? Anytime you're served an ad on social media, you want to be a little cautious. First of all, you could click on it and it could take you to a lookalike website that looks just like an actual hotel site, but it's not. It's fake. You have scammers behind the scenes running those. And then also there are a lot of third-party sites, that tout these really great deals with hotels and things like that. And sometimes you can go down a path where you maybe think you're getting this really great deal, but the site you're using is actually not affiliated with the hotel whatsoever. And so what they show as the price you'll be charged, you may run your credit card, book the hotel through that third party, but then when you see the receipt come through, you were charged a lot more. Or they don't actually have that affiliation with the hotel. So you just want to really be careful anytime you're booking. And I know in the past, Google has changed quite a lot over the years, especially recently with AI. So just because something populates first in your search does not mean it's going to be the best thing.
Right. Sometimes if it says like sponsored by, right?
Exactly.
Or
so
ad.
Yeah, there's a lot of ads. There's also a lot of sites that have gotten really good at manipulating behind the scenes to show up first. And so you just want to be really careful when you're researching. I know it was kind of in the past, like you want to click on the top 3 things, those are going to be the best, but that's not necessarily the case these days. So just be really careful, even when you're searching, that maybe scroll a little bit. I know it takes more time, but in the long run, I think you'll be thankful and you'll probably won't have to kick yourself for getting taken advantage of and losing money.
Sometimes the research is the fun part anyway.
Yeah.
Look at it that way.
Yeah.
What are some of the other red flags then people need to look out for?
So anytime you go to a website, you want to make sure it's secure. So it should have HTTPS in the URL. There should be a little padlock symbol up at the top there. You also want to be careful when you're on these websites. Are there spelling and grammatical errors? Oftentimes with fake websites, you're going to see a lot of that happening. And so also, as always, if anybody ever asks you to pay with any other method other than a credit card, that's going to be a really big red flag to kind of keep on the lookout for. And then also, if you see a really good deal from a hotel, regardless of the site you're on, and it does seem a little bit too good to be true, pick up the phone and actually call the hotel. Find their legitimate website. Make sure you're on their actual website. And then, again, do the research to say, hey, has anybody complained about this particular hotel? What are people saying? And so by spending the time to do that, you will probably enjoy your vacation much more.
And you also say, looking at the cancellation policy.
Yes.
Why is that important?
You want to check the cancellation policy just because if something were to pop up, something were to happen, you aren't able to make it, maybe you change your mind. If you are paying a price that you thought it was and then you see you were charged something different, you want to be sure that you know what that cancellation policy looks like. So in the event you have to back out, you have some protection.
Okay. Anything else we need to know, Juliana? There's a lot going on here, and we've got vacation coming up. Thank goodness we already hooked that up, I believe.
Right. Yeah. You know what? Check bbb.org. We have tons of really great information across any kind of scam you can probably think of. Anytime we're made aware of something new, we really try to make sure all of our consumers know what's going on. We want to make sure the community knows what's going on. And look at bbb.org. We have plenty of accredited businesses that can assist you, travel agents and things like that. So give us a look.
Spring break is next week. I think, right? Next week?
For some.
I think for some. Yeah, I think it kind of,
approaching Easter, that's all I know. Yeah. I've got a little break coming up, so I've got a mix of both hotel and Airbnb.
Okay.
Depending on the area I'm going to. But that's what we do.
Yeah,
just spend some time and looking if it's a real review, if it's a real place.
Exactly. And as I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, vacation. Wait, I leave on Thursday. So I actually also have an Airbnb. Okay. It's a really good friend of mine's birthday. We rented a nice Airbnb down in Pensacola. So, same thing. We spend a ton of time researching, sending properties back and forth, making sure they're legitimate. And, especially being in the group chat. And this is the stuff that I do on a daily basis. I'm like, wait a minute, don't book anything.
Right.
Let me look.
You gotta walk the walk as well.
Exactly.
But that's good, man. Yeah. I need to have a BBB in my little girls trip.
We need a BBB friend.
BBB friend.
Well,
I'm just going to go to Juliana.
Personal
BBB vetting my Airbnb stays.
Yes.
All right, Juliana O'Rork, thank you so much for joining us here this morning. As always, good information.